and was really struck by the poverty in Africa and couldn't reconcile that with what I was doing. So actually, I married somebody who was living, by coincidence.
Like you do.
I married someone who was living in Burkina Faso, working among the Fulani in the north. And I went there really not knowing what I was going to do, and ended up coming full circle and creating a fashion brand, working with local artisans.
So what caused you to go to Burkina Faso? And you'd also spent some time in Phnom Penh.
Yes, that's right.
So how did you kind of get from fashion into craft? It's sort of almost backward engineered.
Well, I went to Phnom Penh to work among the factory workers there. I started a magazine for them. And during that time, I met my husband, who was working in Burkina Faso, and so I sort of handed over the magazine and then moving to Burkina. But when I arrived, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I had this sort of idea that I wanted to help alleviate poverty, possibly through trade, and that I might teach something. But in fact, I ended up learning more than teaching about traditional crafts and getting really excited about what I found.
And was that because of the sort of background that you trained, because you went to Nottingham-Trent University?
That's
so
right.
That would have been more about the making rather than just flashy magazines.
That's right.
Did that kind of, what you were seeing in Burkina Faso, tap into that element of kind of making and producing again? Oh,
definitely. And I think it was something that I wanted to sort of wash my hands of the fashion industry, because I thought it was so superficial. But actually, you know, the fact is I love fashion, I love clothes, and then when I was there, I found these incredible craftspeople and just thought, this is such a wonderful opportunity. They were living in poverty, and thought, well, this is something that we can, you know, we can work on, we can market together and create beautiful fashion products.
But when you were there, what made you go, wow, if we don't do something, it's kind of use it or lose it, isn't it, with crafts? And we've seen, like, Chanel, Karl Lagerfeld basically tapping into traditional kind of skills and crafts across France to keep them alive. They've bought out some of these houses. Yes. Was there any element of that with what you were seeing in Burkina Faso?
Oh, absolutely, and it's heartbreaking to see, you know, the wonderful, beautiful skills that are about, but really, you know, I was there for 7 years, and even over that time I saw them disappearing. You know, and seeing like looms standing empty in fields where once there would have been, you know, people working on them every day.
But how much of this is sort of, you can travel pretty much anywhere in Africa as a tourist and you'll see what are effectively knickknacks. Yes. How do you sort of take it out of that and make practical goods, saleable goods that you can export to the rest of the world?
Yes. Well, the problem with a lot of African craft is that it's had to become more, it's had to become cheaper for tourists. So what's happened is that they've sort of cut out some of the, yes, exactly, they've had to cut out some of the detail and make them quicker to make, and so whereas, you know, there used to be beautiful embroidered cushions that the Tuaregs make, now they sort of paint them, and so the quality is very different from what they used to be. And so what I'm trying to do is take it back to, you know, the original sort of quality that we can, the best quality that we can achieve.
So let's have a look at some of the pieces, and if you can kind of tell us what you saw, and then what did you apply to the process to kind of get to what are clearly high quality items.
Yes. So, well, the first thing I got really excited about was a family of horse reins makers came and showed me the reins that they were weaving for horses. And there used to be horses everywhere, but because of motorbikes, they've now mostly disappeared.
Well, I was going to ask you about this, because you abandoned the motorbike, the kind of the transport of choice for many people, and it sounds like you switched to a horse, and somehow that got you into all of this.
Well, I didn't actually. I did have a motorbike as well, because the horse was quite slow. But that was actually something that I'm very passionate about, horses, and I got it as a sort of for leisure, but also as a means of connecting with people. And it really did. You know, people would come around and tell me their stories about, you know, when horses used to, you know, they used to have horses in their family, and I also was able to travel out to villages on the horse. I could have gone on a motorbike, but it struck up conversations, and it was because of that these horse reins family came to see me. So they brought these incredible hand-woven straps with tassels on them. Now they paint them normally bright colours, but if without the, I went to see how they make them and then saw that they cured the leather from from goat skins, and then they weave them, and there's sort of like 21 strands in these, and it's incredibly difficult, the process. And there were sort of two old ladies still making these. And
so you encourage them to sort of strip back to the base product,
yes.
and then that gives you more choice with what you can do with it.
That's right. And so what we played with was doing different lengths and different sort of combinations of you know, bobbles here and tassels here, and then I ended up trying them on bags.
The blankets and the bags.
Yes.
And I mean, the quality of that leather bag's amazing.
Yes. So this is a tassel that would normally be on a horse rein, but we've done it in a professionally cured leather. So we've got so that's just an adornment for that bag, and then this is, you know, for instance, this was the weave for a traditional horse girth. Which we've used as the strap for this reversible bag. I'm also now making belts. I'm working with a British bridle maker, so combining the equestrian heritage of two cultures, who's made them into belts.
What's your hope for all of this?
Yes.
I mean, is it just a means to an end, or is it, you know, what impact has this already had, and what are you hoping it will have?
Oh, it's had a huge impact. Not only do I work with the horse reins makers, I also work with a weaver who's made this blanket, and spinners who are working, you know, spinning cotton by hand in the same village. And within those villages, we've used the profits to install water pumps, buy solar lights. We've just bought a millet grinding machine for the reins makers village, which means that instead of having to spend hours every day pounding by hand, the women can run their millet through a machine, and then they're free to weave or do something else. And
is this like a classic trade not aid situation?
Oh,
it's like, don't help us to help ourselves.
Yes, oh, I think so. And it's, you know, it's much more there's a lot more dignity involved, isn't there, if you can offer business. And what I really don't want to do is sort of sell products that people think, oh, we'll buy them because we really want to support the project. It's not about that. I want to produce goods that people really like and really want to buy for what they are.
The industry you were in, it was effectively fast fashion, if not two collections, 4, even 6. I mean, some of these stores are constantly churning things over.
Yes.
That's not what this is about, though. This is kind of, do you think this transcends seasonal fashion? In terms of, because these are accessories, obviously. Yeah, absolutely.
And I do try to make products that that will transcend seasons and will transcend trends. And yes, and I fully support slow fashion, as it's called. You know, where you don't buy cheap products that don't last, but you spend more on quality products. And that's one of the things that I'm passionate about, is elevating African craft to the place that it really deserves, which is, you know, high quality, high-end goods.
And we've seen people like Jean-Paul Gaultier and various other big name designers kind of getting influences from Africa.
Yes.
Do you kind of think that's all a bit fake, and this is the authentic?
Oh no, I mean, I think influence is fine, but yes, I mean, there's nothing quite like the real thing. I mean, when we're talking about Bogolan, for instance, I mean, this has been, you know, this is a process of dyeing with mud, fermented mud, and you can get these amazing prints, you know, from sort of earthy colours right through to black. Okay. And this is the real thing. I mean, you know, designers have copied the style, but